99.7 DJX, the Ben Davis and Kelly K Show podcast.
Supplying every demand.
On demand.
When you're in a relationship, you have to kind of, slowly reveal who you really are. Slowly take those masks off until, the person that you're seeing sees the real you, sees you for who you are really without any masks on, and knows you. And then from there on, you can then decide, all right, now let's figure out what we're going to do with our relationship. Are we going to get married, get engaged? Are we just going to continue dating and all that?
Yeah, but you do reveal a good amount of your background and stuff like that when you're getting to know each other in a new relationship. So by the time I'd say you're 6 months in, you got a real good, healthy knowledge of who this person is.
Yeah, so if you've got a situation that you find yourself in and you want to just toss it to a bunch of people who don't have any emotional connection to it, you can message us at Ben and Kelly Show. We'll toss it out to the group and see what we can do for you. All right. So I'm gonna keep everyone anonymous here because and I got to be honest, it gets dark. Okay.
Okay.
So this person writes, I just found out my fiancé was in prison for manslaughter.
Oh, wow. Hang on. Let me marinate for just a second. Just found out. OMG. That's a big one. Okay, continue.
She writes, he never told me any of this. His mother sent me a private message on Facebook telling me everything.
Oh, my gosh.
It all checks out. My boyfriend got into a bar brawl and wound up killing a guy during a fight about 20 years ago.
Oh, my gosh.
It was proven that my boyfriend started the fight. He got released early due to some weird loophole his lawyer discovered. I guess I'm unhappy about him not telling me any of this.
Yeah, that's a really big one to leave out.
I've known him for almost 3 years and this was never mentioned. I'm wondering, should I stay with him? Wow.
Oh, wow. Well, at the very least, a conversation is needed. Why? I get that he's obviously not proud of that, but he needs to tell her. He should have told her before they're 3 years in.
Yeah, how do you bring that
crazy.
up?
I don't know. Well, I feel like it's just hey, I feel like there's something I need to tell you from my past.
Yeah.
And then explain everything and then let her decide what to do with that information. I get that he didn't want to scare her off, but that is a huge thing to leave out of your life story.
All right. Dang. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of just, what's his side? What is he thinking?
He's thinking he didn't want her to know because he's ashamed of it and he thought it would scare her off, which he may be right.
Yeah. All right. 502-571-9970. Would love to hear your thought on that, or especially if you found out something like this and it all came to light and you're cool. Obviously she's 3 years into this relationship. She has feelings for him. They're engaged,
Yeah. Yeah, she's going to be spending her life with this man. So she needs to know everything involved in that story.
All right. I'd love to hear your take on it. 502-571-9970. For 3 years, was in prison 20 years ago for manslaughter.
Yikes. That's a big fun fact to leave out of his life story when he's, when they first started dating. I mean, at some point, I would think of the first 6 months, that's something that you reveal. That's a big thing about you. June on Facebook said, first off, with his mother telling you, sounds like her hope is to get you away from her previous baby boy.
Yeah.
Talk with him, make sure you let him know that it was his mother that told you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stephanie said, I agree, you should have been told, but 20 years ago me and current me is not the same person. I'd hear his side and then decide.
Yeah, because she said that it was because of a bar fight that they got in, that he started and wound up.
Person ended up dying.
Yeah, person ended up dying for that. Now, Jackson, you've got an interesting take on this.
Well, I would like to say that my dad was in jail for a little bit, and he came out and he loved us all. Like, it was an accident. So he didn't really mean to do it. So when you think about it, even though the guy, he started the fight, he might have not known, because, like, when there's 3 people on you, you have no idea what you're doing. You're just, you might try to get out of it. So I would just like to say that people change.
Okay. And you know what, Jackson, I appreciate you calling and giving us that point of view, because I don't think a lot of people would.
Thank you. I
appreciate that. Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
Interesting.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, what an articulate young man.
Right. And I have seen several people say that, 20 years is a long time. And if you think about the person you are now,
yeah,
and if you're old enough, who you were 20 years ago, and you're completely different people.
Well, and like he said, bar brawls can happen, and it doesn't sound like it was a situation where her fiancé went to kill someone. Mm-hmm. So I think that makes a big difference. But she does need to find out everything involved in that story.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Just so she fully knows exactly who he is then and who he is now.
I mean, we say all the time, if you're getting married, you need to make sure that all the masks are off. You need to have... be completely raw with the person that you're marrying, because that's for life, and you got to know. And everybody's got their crazy, everybody's got their thing, but you just gotta, I guess, figure out if their crazy is all right with you, and you can.
And like Jackson said, people can change, mm-hmm. and you need to know all the details surrounding that case to know if it was malicious, if he intended to kill someone or not.
Man, okay, so I think what we're all saying is, listen, let's not check out now yet. Let's first get his story, because as of this point, he probably doesn't know that you know. So
exactly,
we need to first approach him with that information.
And mom might have been feeling guilty, like knowing that she doesn't know yet, and be like, "Hey, before you make this lifetime commitment to my son, I feel like there's something you need to know."
Yeah.
So you have all the information. So that could have been her intent too. But again, we don't know. Man. That part either.
And then it's like, why is the mom doing that? What's she trying to do?
Yeah, well, maybe she's just saying, listen, I feel guilty that he has, maybe she, guilty by association.
Right.
Like, that's my son and he should have told you this, and I feel like you need to know.
Okay. I get it. We have to move on here, but if you want to keep chiming in, or you want to look and see what other people have written and post up your own thought, you can. Facebook @Ben and Kelly Show.